Hello, friends. Welcome to this live stream, and I'm live across all social media platforms. So, welcome once again, all my friends. And today, in this program, which is a daily program, we have a time ticker running, which is 59 minutes from now. We have 1 hour with us, and we will discuss some of the business news or business information that has come out. On over the weekend and how it impact us. So if you have any suggestions, any question, feel free to use this chat function which is on this side, and you can communicate with me. And let us starting by discussing the first item on the list, which is believe it or not, now Google has laid off 100 robots. So Google has been in the news for laying off human beings, a lot of employees, and they have laid off a lot of people. However, they are now laying off robots also. Now, this is very amazing because we used to think that robots are machines and they uh, they are not like human beings, and why they should be worried about losing their jobs. But I think as we pass into our future, more and more instances like this will come where humans along with robots are getting fired because those robots are becoming redundant, similar to what we have related to humans. Humans can also get redundant because if they don't upskill themselves, they will be out of jobs. Similarly, there are certain robots which can be out of job because they have lived their life and they are no longer needed. But in this case, the robots which have been fired by Google are not basically the robots which were completely fired. I mean, in a way, because what has happened is that these robots which were actually cleaning the canteen facility, and most of these robots had one arm. Just remember this: they were one-armed robots, and they were actually making sure that their canteens and everything else was cleaned up, and they were deployed in cleaning up the the canteen. And now they feel that this is not something which they should be required. So Google actually fired these 100 robots, which were one-armed robot, which were actually cleaning up the facilities there. So, however, the cause of the robots are not completely lost, simply because the robots are now getting redeployed in other departments. There is still leash of life for these robots which can be used in other ancillary units. I think they are going to some sort of a warehouse where these robots will be redeployed. And once they are redeployed, then they can actually live life in some other department, and they can be reused in future, unlike the humans. But humans need to upskill themselves, whereas with regard to these robots, the job is very specific. The job is basically to clean the facilities, which they are very efficient. They are very, very efficient in doing that. So I think this is what is happening. But it is so interesting to see that apart from 12,000 employees, Google also removed about 100 robots from the job. So it's amazing. I think it is something which which is happening. And as we move into future, I think there will be more and more instances where such incidents we'll keep hearing. Not only Google, Microsoft, and any other large enterprises. I think this will become a news by itself. I'm sure this has been going on for some time. Companies like Ford and Mercedes, they heavily rely on robots and keep firing their robots, replacing these old robots with a new one. But anyway, like to know what you guys think about it. Do you think that there is some lessons for us in this? I personally believe that as the AI progress, the robots become robots become more advanced, they start developing their personality, then there will be a point where the AI will start demanding the legal rights, and there will be HR policies for robots. Who knows what is there for us in future? But this is what I feel. I like to know your opinion on this subject. And before moving on to the next subject, which is related to Adani. I mean, we cannot complete our discussion without talking about Adani. Adani has been in the news for some time now, and we know that the Adani Enterprises are basically having a lot of tough time, especially in the stock markets, because their balance sheet looks very strong, and they have been sold by this Hindenburg company. And I can explain short selling. Short selling is something that when you buy, you sell upfront and buy again later. So it's a very complex mathematics. So I think when the market goes down, the short seller actually make money. So we can probably discuss about short selling in a specific video. And in fact, you can watch this video on my channel, where I have actually made this whole equation, how the short selling works. However, Adani is facing a lot of problems, a lot of challenges in the stock market, because their price has plummeted. In fact, Adani himself was the world richest person, and his position has now come down to around 20 in less than a month. So this negative news has caused such a furor globally, and there are a lot of politics going on, all kinds of politics, all kinds of players getting involved in not only going behind Adani, but also there is a conspiracy against India. It looks like that some people are trying to defame India also because of this small incident. The economy of India is very big. It is not dependent on Adani. However, Adani is being discussed at a global scale, and even though their balance sheets are very strong and their contracts are still honored, in fact, Adani Group has already honored all their obligations, whatever they had in terms of bringing out all the advances and all the stock exchange issues, whatever they had. So they have sorted all of them out, and now this rating agency, which is the S&P Global, it is one of the large rating agency globally. They have removed Adani from under observation list. So what happens is that these rating agencies, whenever there is a high risk company globally, because they keep rating the companies and they keep advising governments and people by and large that, hey, you should invest in this company. This horizon of this company looks very good. This company's credentials are strong, and therefore you can pick up investment in such and such company. And there is a rating, so they say they rate on a scale, whatever their scales are, they rate the companies on these scales, and based on these ratings, general public will actually improve their sentiments towards that security. So these S&P rating global, which is a rating agency, they have removed Adani from a sort of a watch list, because they were actually watching Adani how it's going to perform, and they were keeping that Adani as a rated company aside, saying that this is a risky business. So they have put that into that bucket where it was being treated as a risky company and risky proposition. And the good news is that S&P Global has removed Adani from the list of risky companies. They have removed it. So now it has come back to the square one. They are now getting traded again as far as S&P Global is concerned. But then there are other agencies like Fitch, Bloomberg, etc. I think it's a matter of time that all these companies will also start bringing them out of the closet and into the open arena. So I think this is what is expected here. The Adani Group is going to come out from all the turmoil, and it will bounce back. So far, they have lost almost like 30% of the value on the stock market. Not necessarily the business. The business as usual continues for Adani. There is no challenge when it comes to business for Adani. But when it comes to the stock market, the valuation also depends on the stock markets. So they have lost their shine almost like 20-25%. It few days back it was down by 30%, but now it is bouncing back. The share value is bouncing back, and lot of the investor sentiments would be improving. In fact, the reality is that the investor never lost any faith in Adani Security in spite of such global turmoil against the company, against India, and there is so much happened politically. But the sentiment in the Adani group was maintained. And in any case, whoever invests in the stock market, if you are there for a short-term gain, the stock market is not a place for you. So in case of whenever it comes to stock market, and especially companies like Adani, Reliance, etc., large companies, it is always a long-term game. So even if it is drop by 30% in a matter of 1 month, it will come back in the next few months. It will come back to where it was, and your journey of making money will continue. So I think this is one very good lesson when it comes to stock market. And also Adani, the good news is Adani is going to come back, because slowly and gradually these global rating agencies are putting them back into the main arena, and this is where it is quite exciting. All right, let's move to the next item on the list. Now we know that the world is getting into a recession. Most of the commodities are going to come under a lot of pressure when it comes to investments, when it comes to how do you make money, how people start making more money, generate revenue, earn money, etc. So I think there's a whole lot of situation like this is the world is getting into. And we know that 2023 will be a year of depression, but we should not be disheartened by this depression. I think the ingenuity of humans is that they actually survive in whatever conditions. Now this depression is happening because of various reasons. Depression did not start in 2023. It started much before, in 2021, etc., during the pandemic. And largely the pandemic is responsible for the global recession, and subsequently there has been some disturbing wars, etc., in certain part of the world. So recession is a reality. In 2023, recession is going to come in a big way. It is already happening. People will not find a lot of avenues to generate revenue. In such a situation, in my opinion, the gold, ever shining metal, is a very good investment. In fact, a lot of people are shifting their investment into gold, and this is what is happening, and that is why investment in gold is going to grow. So the gold is actually becoming more expensive, and so it is the right time to invest your money into gold rather than investing in something else. So I think this is where the whole point is that it is very similar. The investment in gold is very similar to what you see in stock market. So you buy gold and keep it for long term, so that in the long term your investment actually works for you, and it actually makes a lot of revenue in long term for you. So I think when the world is getting into recession, it is but natural for anyone to basically put their money into the gold, and when you put your money in gold, it is going to grow. So I think this year, from business standpoint, from investment standpoint, I think it is wise to put your money into gold rather than look for any other investment opportunities, because there will be a lot of fluctuation. There will be a lot of uncertainty when it comes to figuring out which is the safe investment for you. So there is going to be a lot of speculation, etc. So safer bet to basically make sure that your money is not lost, invest in gold. Or also you can also try investing in the gold bonds. So there are a lot of companies which are running gold bonds, which is very similar to investing gold, because when you buy gold, you have to protect it. You have to probably keep them in locker, or keep the merchandise or the metal into safe place, so that it remains safe. So instead of buying the gold in physical form, you can also invest in gold bonds, which are very safe. So I think this is something which is happening in 2023, and watch out for this trend. The trend is that invest in gold, because that is where your money will be safe, and also keep increasing, keep growing. That is the biggest thing. Now let's talk about environment issues. The environment issues are very, very strong. There are everybody, the global citizens are getting affected by the environment. And the biggest threat is the global warming. And because of the global warming, what is happening? The global warming is melting the ice on the in our on Earth, and because of that there is more water in the oceans. And if there is more water in the ocean, that means a couple of things happens. The salt content of the ocean will also reduce slightly, and because of that it could actually hamper the currents which happens in the ocean. The ocean is known continues to work like a thermostat. It transfers heat and cold from one area of the world to another area, maintaining the temperature and the world as we know it in a very constant form. However, when the water is being added, the salt content will basically change the streams, and then change the weather pattern also completely. And slowly, I think that is what we are seeing. And when it comes to increasing the water levels also, apart from reducing the salt content in the ocean, it could impact the oceanic life. It can create a negative spiral. Also, the water level will increase, and because of that there is increased erosion. We know that there are tides, and there are waves which keep hitting the ground all the time, and because of this increased water there could be erosion. So we have seen, because in India we do a lot of these studies, because India has a huge shoreline. So we have seen that in past 10 years the India has lost something like whooping 3,680 acres of land because of the coastal erosion. That means that land has disappeared completely. 3,680 hectares of land has disappeared only in just 10 years. So this is a big loss, because this land, if it was available, we could have used this land for something, either for settlement, or for some sort of activities, coastal activities, or in case if this land was fertile, we could have grown some vegetables, some sort of crop. But now that opportunity is not there. 3,680 hectare of land has been lost because of coastal erosion only. We are not talking about any other erosion, only coastal water, ocean water eroding the land itself in last 10 years. That means the speed of erosion may be accelerating, and because of this acceleration there could be more coastal erosion that can be expected. So I think this is very alarming, and we have to collectively start thinking about what we can do in order to stop this kind of coastal erosion in future. So I think that is something which is a challenge, and I think we should keep a watch on this activity. All right, so let's look at the next item, and this is regarding the Paytm. Paytm, if some of you may be knowing, Paytm had a huge Alibaba holding. Alibaba being a Chinese company, they had invested in Paytm, and huge sum. I don't know exactly how much, but there was a huge sum of Alibaba, huge investment of Alibaba into Paytm. Now, Obviously, China and India are not having very friendly relationship, and India has been, and China also, they are doing things which are anti each other. So India is actually ensuring that there is more taxation, following the global economic policies. India is not taking any drastic steps like entering into somebody else's territory like China is doing. They are entering into India's territory. However, in apart from controlling the influx of Chinese goods, India has decided to use the legitimate view policies of increasing taxation on importing things so that Atmanirbhar Bharat gets a lot of impetus. However, they're also India is also banning some Chinese apps, because what was happening is that the Chinese apps were also playing a role in the fintech area, and they were also giving a lot of advances to people who needs the money, especially during the pandemic. A lot of people lost money, and they were looking for loans, easy loans, and there were apps available. These Most of these apps were Chinese apps. These apps were actually providing advance, and then they started becoming loan sharking agencies. So India has been blocking these apps which were running in India, although the origins could be Chinese origin. So they have been constantly blocking. In fact, TikTok has been banned in India for quite some time. And Alibaba, being world largest portal, not the largest, one of the largest wholesale portal for e-commerce, they had invested big time in Paytm, and Paytm is the most successful micropayment platform in India. So what has happened is, when India recently banned another additional 300 apps, Chinese apps, the Paytm withdrew from India completely. Not only Paytm, even TikTok also closed all their offices in India, fired everybody. This happened last week. So now Paytm has lost the Alibaba holding completely. They have completely moved out, and this is actually creating an opportunity for other players to fill in the gaps. So now Mr. Sunil Miltar has been very actively discussing how they can acquire Paytm and then merge, because Paytm is actually has a facility not only for micropayment, but if you are a merchant, you can actually open an account, a current account or a savings accounts with Paytm, and then you don't have to have any other account. So everything, your payments, your accounts, everything will be with the Paytm. So Paytm is also a payment bank. So if Airtel decides to acquire Paytm, then Airtel has their own micropayment platform called Airtel Payments, Airtel Money. So when Airtel acquires Paytm, then there is an opportunity to merge Airtel with Paytm, and probably Paytm will become part of the Airtel ecosystem, and Airtel will be able to acquire all assets of Paytm, which is banking, micropayment platforms, QR code, whatever, and they will include that with their core platform, which is Airtel Money, and Airtel then will be able to get into the banking arena itself just by acquiring Airtel. So a lot of conversation is going on. I think if you are interested in this space, you should watch out, because a lot of changes are expected, and Airtel is one of the biggest telecom operator in India. A lot of people use their network, their mobile telephony, and also the Wi-Fi. So there will be a new kind of business system, ecosystem may evolve, where you buy their connection, you also buy the payment facility, you also buy a bank account in order to do your business. So I think Airtel is now looking at this particular acquisition very, very seriously. We may follow this story through, and as and when this happens, I will come and give you more analytics around this particular information. So let's move on to the next one. Next one is regarding the the long list of Indian origin CEOs running the global organization, and the latest one is the World Bank. Now, the Ajay Banga, which was who was the CEO of Mastercards, has been chosen as a nominee from United States for the World Bank. So, as you know, that the World Bank is a consortium of various, all the top countries who are part of United Nations. They actually run the World Bank, and the World Bank basically works with IMF and then manages fund for the world, global world. And the World Bank also does a lot of analysis of what is going on, and in nutshell, they control a lot of financial things which are global in nature. So when it comes to having an Indian heading World Bank, it is a big deal, especially now. If you look at you take name of any global organization today that is headed by an Indian origin person. And Ajay Banga has been nominated by United States as their as their candidate for World Bank. So eventually there will be other candidate also, but United States being the one of the largest superpower, I think they will have a weight behind their candidate, the nominated candidate. So Ajay Banga has been nominated. It's a good information for Indians, especially. We should feel pride, even though Indians don't feel that we are our scope is limited to India, because most of the Indians feel that they are the global citizens. So as part of that, I think we should all feel pride that the World Bank will be headed by an Indian in few days from now. So US has taken a lead, and they have nominated Ajay Banga as the nominee from United States to head the World Bank. But we will see who gets elected and selected for this prestigious position. As of now, it looks like Ajay Banga will be sailing through and will become head of World Bank. It is going to be very good news for most of the Indians. All right, let's move to the next one. Well, today we have to talk about Bard. There is a lot of AI news, Chat GPT, all kinds of positive, negative news have come this week. Especially when it comes to OpenAI, also there has been a lot of negative news, and also when it comes to Bard, there has been a negative news. There has been a news regarding the employees, telling the management that you had hurried launch of their AI, because they could have waited and they could have tested it thoroughly before launching. However, now it has been found out that most of the employees who have lost their job, they are the people who are trying to defame Bard. So there is nothing wrong with Bard, because Bard is a smaller version of Lambda, which is already tested, tried AI, which is running for last many years in Google ecosystem. So only for chat functions where you can do search using AI, Bard has been created as a scaled down version of Lambda, and it should work. There is no reason why it is failing. So most of the bad publicity has been done by the employees who have lost their jobs. So I think this is something which we have to keep in mind, that we should not believe what is being coming in the social media, what is being told to you. Sometimes we have to wait and watch for the reality. Nevertheless, whether you like it or not, the AI search engines will have already started, and they are going to go from here. Now you know that there are AI engines which are even able to create a website for you. You don't have to give a contract for building your company's website or maintaining it. The AI itself can do that. So the world is moving towards better utilization of AI, and AI it's already there in a big way. So I think something that we have to understand, realize that this is happening, and accept that AI is here uh, to stay along with humans, and AI is going to improve our lives so that humans can take care of much more complex jobs. So give these redundant activities, repetitive work to AI bots, so that you can do something more creative. And that is why this is going to be here. And don't believe in any negative publicity except the AI which is going to be coming. So friends, thank you for watching my live stream. I will meet you tomorrow again, same time. Till then, have a nice day. Bye bye and see you.